want answers?
I think I'm entitled to.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Hey, folks, welcome back to the... How about that? Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Woo! Who's in charge? Who's in charge of this ridiculous production called Out of the Bunker, blasting out of the bunker, right? 0 Dark 30. Well, I'm in charge of it. Right? No one else is in charge of it. Well, not this morning anyways. But who's in charge of the SHTF mess? Who's in charge of the crash? Now, when the news came out and has continued to come out the last couple of days, it got me thinking. It reminded me of how I used to describe President Trump's presidency. I was like, well, everything's crashing and he's trying to bring it all in nice and slow, right? Nice and slowly. It's going to be a controlled crash instead of a pow, nose first crash. Well, since Biden took control of the cockpit, I guess that's a good way to put it, the cockpit, since he took control of that, it's been back into nosedive. Bam, right? Let's kill energy production. Let's open the border, right? Those aren't gentle political moves and decisions. That's pretty drastic shit. Yeah, pretty freaking drastic, right? Oh, let's have some fun with some war over in Ukraine. Great idea. Well, now that the 2022 elections appear to be winding down, even though Arizona has something to say and others aren't real happy about what's happening, it looks like we're going to see some changes in the guard. Now, right off the bat, President Trump finally made the announcement public, and he waited till after the election results so he knew what to talk about. If he had come out too much earlier, it would have been a mess if he said something about, like, we lost the House, and then it turned out they won the House. Or if he said, we won the House, and then they lost the House, he'd look like an idiot, an imbecile. So they had to wait until it was secured. But yeah, he has now announced he's going to run for president. This is greatly upsetting to the Democrats, but it's also greatly upsetting to the Rhino powers. That's right, the Republicans in name only. They are very upset with this. The Never Trumpers folks were Republicans, right? Obviously, Democrats would never support Trump. But when Republicans said that, it was something different, right? This struggle, this fight, right? Who's in charge of this crash? I tell you. So he is now going to take that fight. I don't think DeSantis would run against him. I just don't think. He just won re-election in Florida. He's got 4 more years of protecting Floridians. I don't think Abbott's going to run. He had his hands full with Beto, right? And that bullshit. In fact, everyone has got their hands full with the system, the Nintendo system. Everyone has their hands full there. What to do about it, how to deal with it. But that's where we're supposed to be participating. Who is in control of the crash? Folks, that's an entirely different question. The fight has begun in the, shall we say, back rooms of power. I'm going to start with the Republicans. McConnell is now being challenged. He's incredibly unpopular. He's a Rhino POS. And he has been doing everything he can to hamstring Trump, ruin anyone who's America first or make America great again. And is that really the role that the leadership in the Senate is supposed to do? Is screw everyone in the party over unless they agree with him? Well, that's how he's been treating it, folks. That's why shit has really sucked. That's why the Republican Party has really sucked in Congress. Same with McCarthy. Now, what McCarthy has been doing is putting people who would be the most capable, shall we say, opponents of his in Congress, the most capable opponents to run against him for Speaker of the House. He's putting them in positions of authority, right? So that they're being bought off and taken out of the fight. Because McCarthy really wants it. And to me, as far as I can tell right now, it looks like he's got it, right? But the power struggle in the Senate is still real. That one hasn't been settled. I mean, in fact, McCarthy's position hasn't been settled either. But you can see where the chips are falling, if you will. The power to control Republican Congress and Republican power. Who's in charge of this crash? Right? Now, you would think that on the Democrat side, things are just rosy and peachy. Well, they never really have been with Biden in charge. On multiple occasions, he's basically called Obama the president. Right? Multiple occasions, right? It's incredible. Is he a dotard, or is he being conciliatory towards Obama? Well, yesterday, Michael Obama, refused to say she would endorse Biden as president in 2024. You see, in fact, again, I remember saying he wouldn't last 6 months with his health. Well, his health really didn't last 6 months, but the Democrats didn't want to give up control of crashing, right, from Biden over to Kamala. It's like they didn't think that one very far through, right? He couldn't leave, even though he is a complete doddering fool, making mistake after mistake, being given every pass known, unbelievable pass known. The guy can lie, he can make shit up, he can exaggerate, right? He runs off the stage when he can run to go sniff little kids. Right? He's a total embarrassment. The world laughs at him, literally laughs at him, scoffs at him, insults him, right? Howling and barking. That is not a compliment coming from that culture. Right? He has no respect from anyone. Now, they've tried to present him as a powerful leader. Instead, he just looked and sounded like Hitler. He can't read from cue cards anymore, even. He is done and washed up. I know why Michelle says she wouldn't endorse him, because folks have no plans to endorse him. They need a replacement. I mean, again, the Biden Fetterman ticket, good golly. I doubt it. I doubt Fetterman. I mean, he's so folks, the fight to control who has say and what over the crash. The crash, oh, by the way, that is the Great Reset. You can call it a crash. You can call it a reset. Either way, you best be prepared. We better be prepared. Nancy Pelosi is out. She's not going to control the House of Representatives. And Chuck Schumer in the Senate, even though he's one of the most irritating left-wing socialist sons of bitches ever, with his bullshit attitude, he is incredibly weak as a persona. As far as the Americans are concerned, they all know who he is, but he's essentially persona non grata. No one gives a shit about him. But he does wield an immense amount of power. And they're all going to fight to see how they control. Schumer will just do as he's told. He is a yes stooge for the super left side. But they're all going to fight for this control, folks, of a crashing airplane, a crashing economy, a crashing nation, the crashing of the culture. I mean, Biden has gone so far out of his way to put the most ridiculous fruitcakes in positions of authority and then have it paraded in front of the world as, look at how inclusive he is, as if inclusivity is going to help this country at this point. That's what they want, though, folks. That's what they gave us. So what they want, the bad guys, is what we are going to get. So are you prepared for what comes next? There's going to be tons of political fighting and infighting, even from within the parties. The struggle to deal with the combative, corruptive incompetence will continue. Are you prepared for the fallout? Like the people of the rest of the world, right? We get to deal with the consequences of the choices these idiots make. And they're going to continue to make choices and decisions, folks, on our behalf. Well, to benefit themselves. Tune in here, Prepared Mind channel, to talk about it, discuss it, and to keep up on what's needed. You know, I really think you need a year's worth of food. I really do. I really think a year's worth of food is a good idea. You better have the ability to purify and sanitize water. It's a good idea. You better be able to defend yourself. And you might want to think about also defending this country, because we're getting into some very dark times where some very, very bad things can happen. Because those who are in charge of the crash are steering the plane into the worst possible scenario we could face. Thank you for supporting the channel. Share this broadcast, this internet address up there. Share it with others so they too can wake up and get some ideas, if not get some facts. Get some alternative thoughts. I spent last night talking to a Republican who was buying what the mainstream media and other proponents were saying. They're like, well, it's on the news. Well, it's on the news. Well, it's on the news. It's like, you are still believing the news. As a hardcore Republican, using the left wing and even the pseudo right wing mainstream media as their only source. Right? Chance favors the prepared mind. Use that mind. Semper Fi, Godspeed.